as much as possible to help them with that intuitive energetic healing. Now, yes, we don't heal, right? So their body heals. However, whatever you do and you did for me, I mean, it's, you can say that you do it, but at the same time, even what you just said now about the guy with the mold and everything that you did for me, you still like, if someone asks me, so what does Julie do? I'm gonna say Julie really is the conductor of my healing. Or what's the best way to say that when I approach my client, right?
I help facilitate healing. I help you heal yourself. I'm a facilitator. It's spirit working through me and with me to help you heal yourself. And then use the example of the incision in surgery. It's closed with sutures and staples. The surgeon doesn't make the person's skin grow back. The person makes their own skin grow back. People get that. They understand that. You know, if you have a laceration and you go to the emergency room and they stitch it up, that emergency room staff doesn't make your skin grow back. If they did, they would do it instantly. So by the time you left the ER, you wouldn't have a laceration anymore. The body heals. The body has a tremendous capacity to heal. This whole thing about autoimmune disease is total bullshit in my view. Total bullshit. I obviously am passionate about this. The body is only programmed to heal. The body is never going to attack itself. Ever. The body is working really hard to heal. And like in your daughter's case, she's got some irritants going on. Let's reverse engineer her symptoms. You know, work with Maria, do the gut biome test. Let's see what's going on in her gut, because that's where the immune system is based. But when we have things that are happening in our guts and our immune system isn't working properly or working at full bore, what's happening is it's working really hard to keep us upright and to keep us moving and to keep us living, but it doesn't have the opportunity to fix all this other stuff that's going on. So that's where we come in. The healing happens on the energetic level, and then it will integrate into their body if their spirit chooses to let it. Can happen instantly, can happen over days, weeks, months, can happen, may need complementary care, may need a change in diet, may need something else going on. But it's interesting because I think part of the healing from an energetic standpoint is the person believing that they can be healed. You know, the placebo effect is a big alive and well concept. When medical drugs are being tested to provide that clinical data to the FDA before they're approved, the placebo effect always is way more successful than the drug. Always. It's usually a minimum of 52% of the people that get the sugar pill, get the fake pill, they do better than the people who are getting the medicine that's being tested. And the FDA knows that. So when somebody's on medication, like if I hear somebody's on Lipitor, they're on a statin, I'll explain to them this thing called the number needed to treat. You guys will have this on your reference sheet. The number needed to treat is the number of people that need to take a medicine in order for it to help one person.
Yeah.
The higher the number, the less effective the medicine. Lipitor is a multi-billion-dollar revenue-generating drug. The number needed to treat for Lipitor is 100, which means 100 people need to take that drug in order for it to help one person. Those are horrendous odds. It has lots of side effects that go with it. So that means, okay, you got a 1 in 100 chance of being helped by this. And then when you read further in the number needed to treat information, you find out, how does it help the person? Well, it extends their life by 4 days. It's like, really? You want to go through all those symptoms, one of which is dementia?
Yeah.
In order to prolong your life by 4 days? I don't think so. So the placebo effect is part of the healing equation. When somebody believes that this energy healing is working, what are they doing? They're helping to integrate that healing into their body.
Yeah.
I don't care whether they believe it or not. That's their prerogative. Do I love it when somebody says, "Oh, you did a healing on me and my shoulder doesn't hurt anymore"? Yeah, I love that. That's wonderful. I don't focus my intention on that. My intention is, here's what I'm watching. Here's spirit working through me and with me to help you heal yourself. The doctor's going to help you heal yourself. And you need to be your own advocate. When people come to us for an energy healing, a lot of the time they've been to multiple doctors, gotten multiple diagnoses and multiple treatment suggestions, and they still have the same symptoms. So we're often able to pinpoint things like this ER physician. He was a physician, for God's sakes. Nobody got the mold till I got him on my radar. He was able to heal from that. So we're part of the healing equation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and you help them raise their vibration, right? You
Right.
help me, and you guys don't know this, but actually the initial contact that I had with Julie was also regarding my sister, and Julie said, "Yeah, I see she has cancer in her thyroid," and we were like, "What?" And then she's a doctor, right? My sister is a doctor, her husband is a doctor, so you can imagine how I was perceived when I said, "Can Julie scan you?" So it's been a process for me to see also my family, to the rationale. And she did a biopsy that came negative, and then she went back to England, which she's actually living fairly close to Maria. And she did another biopsy there, and it turned out it was cancer, and it turned out she had to remove her thyroid. And I talked to her about even Louise Hay, right? Like, You Can Heal Your Body. It's a great book about energy and all this. I think the only thing that I need to work on, I don't think, I know for a fact, and I probably will need all of the help necessary, is the vocabulary, right? The vocabulary that you use when you go, because I literally, the terms, explaining things the way you are just saying now.
That's how I do it. You don't need those. That's how I do it, because that's what appeals to me. For you, you can say, you want to get your thyroid checked. I had a woman call into the show Thursday night. She said, "I did the Cologuard test at home. It's showing a positive result. Do I need to go get a colonoscopy?" I'm like, absolutely, before I even got her on my radar. And then I got her on my radar, and this is a live stream. And then it's being recorded, and we're going to, release it. She was full of colon cancer. But I didn't say that to her on the air. I said, "I really think you need to get in touch with your doctor, and I think you need to have the colonoscopy done." That's all you need to say. I wasn't going to say on the air, "Oh my God, girl, don't walk, run to the closest hospital and get a colonoscopy done, because you're probably going to have a colon resection." But what I did, though, on the air was I did the healing on her. And if you listen to my show last Thursday, you'll understand which caller it was. I did the healing on her. I watched the cancer get removed. We did the DNA healing. We did the lymph cleanse. We did all that stuff that I would do for a cancer patient. But I didn't say to her, "I think you have cancer." That causes more stress. I think what we want to do when we see that, unless somebody's asking us right up front, "Is this malignant?" then you can give them an answer. But if they're saying, "Can you check me? What do you have?" I'll say, "I'm seeing this. It looks suspicious to me. I think you need to go see your doctor." And that's part of the healing equation. And I believe that's the ethical way to do it. I'm not a medical practitioner.
Do you also have the disclaimer that you were mentioning?
I do. Absolutely. I do.
Can we
Yes.
use that as well?
Yes, I have it on my website. It says, "If you schedule an appointment with me, you agree to my privacy policy and terms." The disclaimer's in there. We've got a disclaimer at the end of every show. On the live stream, we have a disclaimer that's up there as it starts. Yeah. So let me take somebody else. Let me get somebody else on here. But those were all great examples and great questions. Who wants to go next? Okay, Ping.
Okay, I want to do my husband.
Okay.
He is
What's his name?
Dan.
Dan. All right.
Okay, he is medical museum, and I cut the medicine. Doctor tell do, and I did a lot of. I don't listen to doctor, but he's 81. His two younger brother died before him. Yeah, over 10 years, but he always positive. Always okay. Even he is fever, cannot move. He said, I'm okay, I'm okay. That's why he lived that long and with my care. And he had a colon guard had said he has cancer, but because his health condition, he cannot do the colonoscopy. That's I want you to check him. And another thing is he has enlarged the prostate.
Okay.
For 30 years, he do the straight catheter, yeah?
Yeah.
But the start of February, he cannot, because large cannot do straight, he do the fully catheter. So if 1 more month, he cannot do this, he have to go back tube, pivot tube, some super pivot tube. So I want you can heal him to take care of enlarged prostate and cancer colon problem.
Okay, so let's do the colon first. So here we go. We're gonna hook into Dan the man. We're gonna ask his permission if we can scan him. So tell everybody where you are, Ping.
Hawaii.
Where in Hawaii?
Kelo, Oahu.
Oahu. Okay, here we go. Here comes our laser beams from all over and heading to you in Hawaii. And I think you're 6 hours ahead of me. So what is it, 5 in the morning or something?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. God bless you. Look how gorgeous you look. 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, got you. Shooting energy from you to Dan the man. Dan, we're talking to Ping. Is it okay if we scan you and do a healing on you? He said, bring it on. That's what I heard him say. Bring it on. Like, yeah. Okay, here we go. We've got Dan. Okay, so going in, looking at the colon, I do see a section that looks diseased. Is it malignant? So I'm asking spirit, is it malignant? I'm getting a yes. It's malignant. What I'm watching happen is I'm watching that section get partitioned off. I watch a membrane go around it. I always watch this with cancer. When cancer is getting removed, it's like it's encapsulated. Imagine we've got a baggie or something, as a plastic something on it to keep those cells from moving. So encapsulating that, it's taken out. Imagine it's a tube. Imagine we've taken a section of it out. Those tubes are clamped off on both of those other ends. So again, my frame of reference is surgery, right? So those are being clamped off. And now I see a mold in the form of a tube, and the stem cell energy is going into the mold. Light amber colored gel, sparkles, dippity-doo. There's a vortex spinning above the tube. That's going to regenerate that section of his colon that we've taken out. And so, okay, that's regenerated. Now I'm watching that section of the colon come out of the mold. You got this mold tube, so I'm going like this and getting this section of the colon out. And now it's being stitched on both sides into place. All right, I'm watching the clamps removed. Okay, a couple more stitches on the left side. I see that sometimes where it needs a little bit more stitching done with suture. So that's happening. Now what I'm watching is this big corkscrew roto-rooter his whole colon. It's spinning really fast and it's cleaning out any kind of debris that's in his colon. And we're doing that. Let's do a lymph cleanse. Imagine there's a big vertical oval tube in the front of his body. It's inside his body, but it's on the front. Lymph fluid looks to me like a light amber color. It's globby, like the fluid you'd see inside a lava lamp. It's kind of globby inside there. And there's a hole that's open on the bottom of each of his feet, Ping. that fluid is spinning really fast. I'm looking at him from the front. It's spinning fast in a clockwise direction. What we're doing is a reverse osmosis purification of his lymph fluid. It's like what they do with bottled water. You can look on the side of bottled water and say reverse osmosis purified. That's what I equate it to. It keeps the fluid, gets out the impurities. So all the toxins are coming out the bottom of his feet. Okay. And then we're going to work on his lymph nodes, because lymph nodes sequester toxins. So imagine there's this big metal dome that's come down on top of his body. And lymph nodes look like little D3 vitamin capsules to me. They're also an amber color. So as that dome lifts off of his body, it's sucking out all the lymph nodes that have sequestered toxins out of the top of his head. And then he's being sprinkled with stem cell energy, and there are vortices spinning above his head, beneath his feet, on either side, front and behind, all spinning concurrently. So that's regenerating new lymph nodes that have, we've removed the ones that have sequestered the toxins. Now what we're doing is a heavy metal cleanse. Imagine two big U-shaped magnets, those red and silver ones, that you see, those old-fashioned magnets that are U-shaped. They're joined in the middle. They're going up and down his body. They turn a quarter of a turn till they get all the way around his body. They're pulling out metallic particulates. Those look to me like little pieces of sparkly glitter, little pieces of dull glitter, can look like metal shavings, can look like a little strand of steel wool in a steel wool scrubbing pad you could use in the kitchen. Let's do a DNA healing on him. I see 7 strands of DNA have come out of the X chromosome, like what we did with Kevin. Those letters are being rearranged back into a proper sequence. When it's resequenced to a normal recipe, it snaps back in to the X chromosome all the way down. Did he get the COVID shots?
He did 3. I don't give him anymore.
Okay,
He
good.
did 3 times.
Okay, did he do the Pfizer?
I don't know which one.
I think he did. Because when I see the DNA looks like a strip of paper that's, that you see inside a fortune cookie with fortune written on it. The mRNA looks like a clear return address label on it. Has letters on it. But the mRNA, what they're finding is, don't get any more shots, you guys. No COVID shots, no shingles, no flu, don't get any of them. They're bad news. But what happens is that the COVID shots are keeping the body in a heightened state of inflammation. The body doesn't calm down, so it's exacerbating things. If somebody's immune system's keeping cancer at bay in a heightened state of inflammation, it's not able to. So we're seeing these huge rates of cancer skyrocket. We're seeing huge incidences of miscarriages and stillborn babies and stuff like that from the COVID shots. I don't get into this on my show. I don't need to be censored. This is not my wheelhouse. And if I have somebody privately on a call, we go into this because I want to get that crap out of you. He looks like he had at least one of the Pfizer shots to me, because the Pfizer shots have this funky green fluorescent dye in them. It's called luciferase. It reminds me of radiator fluid, the fluorescent green and radiator fluid that you use in the car. And it was put in the shots so that a doctor or somebody could hold an incandescent light over the injection site, and it shows green, which is kind of creepy to me. So I can always tell if somebody's had the Pfizer shots because I got this funky green dye in their body. So forcing that out. And those mRNA strands that have come out, Ping, those letters don't get rearranged, they get neutralized. They get wiped off of those strands. We don't want the mRNA in the body. We want it to be neutralized. Interestingly enough on that, I had a client a couple of months ago, and those strands popped out, those mRNA strands, but it wasn't letters in a sequence. It was a few letters, and then there were spaces, and then more letters and spaces. But it wasn't like a uniform letters, let's say 7 letters and then a space, and then 7 more letters. It was like 3 letters, a space, some more. And I heard in my head, I got a divine download, and I said, "Did you by any chance get a blood transfusion in the last few months?" And she said, "Yeah, I did 6 months ago." She got tainted blood with mRNA vaccine in it, and I could see it in her energy field. So it's a thing. And I think that the blood banks are probably going to have, eventually, they're going to have blood that has not been tainted with mRNA. There will be a test, because people don't want that, people that haven't had the shots. So we're fixing that as well. So he's getting like a full healing here. All right, prostate, let's go into there. Prostate is enlarged. What I see when prostate healings happen is kind of like a carrot peeler or a potato peeler. I watch you know what those cheese slicers look like that are just a wire with a handle on it? That's what I see used. You know what I'm talking about? You get a really thin